Backstage, the Austin City Limits Music Festival, day 1 of 6. He is Omar Apollo. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, you've been playing a bunch of festivals recently. You've been playing the kind of shows that I imagine a couple of years ago you couldn't have pictured or you did picture.
I mean, I don't know. I guess so, yeah. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I probably didn't picture it. But yeah, no, it's definitely like a blessing, man. I'm very fortunate.
You had the luxury pre-pandemic of things starting to happen. There was a trajectory.
Right.
Then you have a very busy creative pandemic.
Yeah.
And get to do what you're doing now. While a lot of us spent a lot of time complaining about the pandemic, it may have worked out in your favor in that regard, right?
Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I definitely wouldn't have been able to make my first album with everything that I knew when the pandemic started, when I was supposed to start it. So it just got pushed back, but I mean, I'm happy it did. You know, I learned a lot about myself and music and kind of identity and things like that I think, you know, really helped me shape the album.
You think you learned a lot of those things during the pandemic?
Right, yeah.
That
totally.
The pandemic changed you in those ways?
Fully, yeah. I feel like, you know, everyone was really reflective. So, you know, it's look inside, you know, but yeah.
Speaking of identity overall, I mean, you're a guy who's connecting with a lot of folks who don't normally see people like them in situations like yours.
For sure, yeah. No, I'm from the Midwest, man. I'm from Indiana, so, you know, yeah. No, it's great for people to be able to, you know, relate to the show or what I say or, you know, things like that. Yeah.
But I bet a lot of kids want to have the conversation with you about who they are, being open about who they are and whatnot. Are you having those conversations with kids regularly?
I mean, yeah. I mean, most of my friends, I feel like, you know, when it comes to queer people, it's like, you know, a lot of people don't know, you know, really where they lie, you know, on the spectrum or, you know, things like that. And I think that, you know, I guess my openness being around them makes them comfortable to talk to me or, you know, things like that. But yeah, no, it's great.
Is it wild that, I mean, just that, maybe 10 years ago, particularly because you've sort of got one foot in hip-hop. I mean, that is an element of a thing you do.
Right.
I mean, that was not something that got discussed 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Was something that would be a career ender 5 years before that.
Yeah, for sure.
And here you are, here we are,
and
those kids
changed,
get to
man.
see that.
We got, you know, got too much access now. You know, things are too in your face. You know, things aren't like, you know, when I grew up in like a very conservative area, but, you know, I had the internet and I had my little iPod with Wi-Fi, you know, and I would like look at everything. I mean, I would read everything and I'd be like, oh, wow, there's people that, you know, are way different than from here. So, yeah, no, it's just kind of opened my mind a little bit. And I grew up very religious and I was constantly, you know, devil's advocate, like, you know, I was always just searching, man, just like discovering and things like that.
On a different identity note, you're a first-generation American. Your parents were born elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we are a nation of immigrants.
Right.
But for them to see you have the opportunities you've had, I can't imagine how they're processing all this. As hard as it must be for you to process.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember, you know, if I was in my parents' position, you know, came from Mexico and had children and then, you know, in the Midwest living, you know, in poverty, and then my kid tells me he wants to be a singer, it's like, you know, I'd probably be like, yo, you're crazy, you know? But no, they were really, you know, at first it was weird, but I just kind of they didn't really know I made music. I remember the first show that they really went to was when it was sold out, like 1,200 people, and they were like, oh, like, are you opening for somebody? I was like, no. And yeah, no, it's just things like that. So I just, like, you know, had to find gratification elsewhere, but, you know, now it's great. You know, they're really proud and really supportive, and yeah, I have a great relationship with them.
Are you a guy that gets stage fright? I mean, because these crowds have gotten exponentially bigger.
No, not at all.
You don't get nervous at all beforehand.
Last time I was nervous was Coachella, I think. But other than that, like right now I'm good. I mean, I'm sipping a little tequila. I'm like, I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, and you're gonna play to as many people as you've probably ever played to in a couple hours.
I don't even know what to expect, honestly. I don't even know how many people are here or how big these things get. But I mean, it'll be awesome.
Is there a sense that having at this point come around the other side of the pandemic, opportunities like this, is there a sense that I'm going to grab all this stuff while I can because I don't know what the future looks like? Or did the pandemic give you time to sort of figure out who you want to be 5 years from now?
Yeah, 100%. I think so. I think time is really like, the greatest gift. I'm learning every single day. I'm constantly wanting to, be better, but I also am accepting, that I am like the pattern that I am, and not like, beat myself up for it. So.
And that right there is everything. I mean,
yeah, but I'm always changing, man. I'm constantly changing. Like I'm constantly, like I just like went to the doctor and they told me like my leg is like pointed out this way a little bit, so I need to walk straight. So now every time I walk, I'm thinking about straightening out my leg. Like, what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that shit before. It was just, wouldn't even notice it. It's like subconscious. But once you like kind of, yeah, I mean, that's just a funny example. But, there's a lot of different ways in my life where that applies.
Need some inserts for your shoes. That's
right,
what solves that.
No, yeah, for sure. I just like need to start stepping straight. That's what they
go.
told me. Actually, Jocelyn told me that. I love her. It's my doctor. She's amazing.
All right, shout out to the doctor.
She's amazing. I love her.
The straight shooting Omar Apollo on Austin City Limits Radio. Appreciate you doing this. Thank you. And we've got more interviews and performances from backstage the Austin City Limits Music Festival all 6 days from Zilker Park with Austin City Limits Radio.
Thanks for having me.